Hello, so today we're going to talk about pinning Nix packages. In the last video, I got super lost. We were looking at declarative shell environments with Nix shell. And when we were looking at this stuff, I was looking at these fetch tarballs. And then I was looking at this one in here where we have a tarball and a git commit. And then we already have this one tarball and like a release name. And I was like, well, how do I know how to do it, right? So I was clicking on different things, but I ended up figuring it out, and I, in fact, made a I changed some of the documentation, updated it, and did a pull request, and they accepted it. So now in this documentation here, there's extra information about finding specific commits and releases. So that's pretty useful. Hopefully when you guys come here and you're clicking on stuff, it'll make a little bit more sense to you. But we're just going to go over it real quick so that we know how to use these. So what I'll do is we will open up I guess we will open up a shell.nix. Let's do that here. Let me just delete all of this. Let's try to remember how to do some of this stuff. So I remember we had like Nix packages equals, and then we have to do fetch tarball. That might be a built-in, so we can just do fetch tarball, and then we have to give it a URL. And that's going to just download the tarball, and then we have to import it, right? I think we might have to put it like, yeah, so we do packages equals import, and then we import Nix packages because this is just a file. Import actually reads it in, and now it's a function. And then we have to call the function with parameters. And I think it's like, I remember like overlay or something like weird like that. Overlay, and it was like overlays, I think it was. And you gave it like an empty list. And I can't remember what the other one was. Okay, so I'm going to look. Overlays, config. Okay. Config is equal to empty attribute set. Overlays is equal to empty list. And then we have to put a semicolon here because we're doing an assignment at the very highest level of packages equals this stuff. And then we do in. So now, like, this is where we have our code, and we're going to make a shell. Packages dot make shell no cc, I think it's called. And this takes in an attribute set as its parameter. And what does it take? The list of packages, right? So it must be like, maybe it's called like packages. Let me look. Yay, it is packages. And we have the with packages here, and then the list of packages that we want to use. So we had something like cowsay, and we also had lolcat, right? This is an assignment, so it goes like this. And now we just need to put the tarball data in here. So let's start by just like copying what we have on the browser and just make sure that this code actually works. Okay, so now we're in here. We're ready. We saved it. So now I should just be able to write Nix shell, and this will by default run Nix shell. And now I should have cow say hello, and that works. And when I exit and I do the same thing, cow say hello, it doesn't work because there's no cow say. All right, perfect. Now, and just to be clear, because maybe I didn't do this last time, with packages just means it puts packages in front of each one of these. I say, hey, it's a short video, and then I like start doing random stuff, right? I just think it's useful to remember. So you see it still works, and now when I do calsay, it works. Okay. So we want to kind of like figure out how to do these like reproducible things. Now, what releases are, like I didn't realize it, but if we just continue to the next section here, we would have seen towards reproducibility pinning Nix packages. It didn't say that in the detailed explanation at all, so I just didn't look here. But we'll just read it. In various Nix expressions, you'll often see import Nix packages. Nix packages points to the file system path of some revisions of Nix packages. For more information on lookup paths in Nix basic languages. Right, so this is the most general version of pulling in Nix packages. And remember, that's just like the function that has all the Nix packages stuff in it. Or actually, it's an attribute set, isn't it? No, it has to be a function because we're calling it with an attribute set. All right, so what happens here? But we don't know what version this is at all. It's probably like the latest version, right? But if I give this to someone else and Nix changes its Nix packages, it updates, then they won't have the same thing that I have. So one thing you can start to do is start looking at, you see you can click on status.nixos.org. And here you have like these channel names, like the high level channel names. So you can say, all right, well, I just want the general NixOS 2405. And in that version, you have something that looks like this. You just have, you just like have all of this part here with the GitHub, NixOS, Nix packages tarball, NixOS 2405, and then you just put in the channel name over here. But that is going, as you can see in like in there, where is it? Sorry, it was here, and then we click on status. This 2405 is going to have many different commits. These are all like different build numbers, right? And then I can click on one of these build numbers, and probably I can get like the git hash for it somewhere. Yeah, this I'm not finding it. Maybe like this one here. And so what we want to do is actually get like to the very specific commit number, and that will pin it to like to the exact version. So you can just like copy this here. I think you can copy the short version. Like you can click on this and then you'll get the long version, right? Where do you see the long version number? Commit. Maybe you have to copy this long thing up here. But anyway, I think you can copy this short version here. Let's see what happens. And I will, let me go back here. And then what they have is this format. Let's do that. All right. What is going on here? tar.gz. I think that's what we want. So now we get rid of this part here. And actually, let's just make sure this works with this thing right here, so that we make sure that we have the right code. I wish I could actually see this, but I think these are the two brace. Let's try running this. Okay, didn't like this. I guess we don't use fetch tarball, right? Oh, we do use fetch tarball. And then because we're fetching the tarball here, that's right, we don't need this because we're not importing it. We're just fetching the tarball. So we just leave it at the quote sign here. All right. It's probably having to download this right now, so it'll take a little while and it'll get this exact version, and we'll see how that goes. I say that a lot, don't I? We'll see how it goes. That's my life. I like do something. I have no idea if it'll work. We'll see how it goes. Right, so before you remember, like I had the brace here, right? Like that you only have the brace like if you want to pass a parameter. And because we're just doing the fetch tarball, you can see now it's downloaded stuff. Because we're doing the tarball, we don't actually we can't call it. It's not a function yet. We have to call import on it, and then it becomes the function that we can like pass this parameter of an attribute set to. So now we're in here, and we have calsay, and everything's great. Calsay 3.04, and then the other version was something else, I guess. All right, so now we wanted to try with our commit number, and what was that commit number? We're going to go to status. We get this commit number here. We copy it and we put it in here. And let's see if that works, if it's good enough. It looks like it's thinking at the very least. I want to do some videos on like actually programming with Nix instead of like just using it as a package manager, just to make sure we learn how to use it. If that sounds interesting, let me know in the comments. Like do some exercise, just general programming exercises with it, and see if it works well or not. All right. I wish there wasn't so much waiting, and I wish I was like better at editing or had, motivation to do editing, because then I could like make this go fast. But the most I can do is like do this and upload it to YouTube, and then I go to bed. That's kind of how my day goes. All right, there we go. And now we have calsay again. Let's see if the version changed. Oh, you see, look, it's 370 now, and before it was 304. So, we got the latest version of NixOS 2405, the latest build, and that means we got an upgraded calsay, whatever that means. Like, I don't know how much better calsay can actually get, right? I think, does that cover everything? I just wanted to show the other thing. So in that other document that I helped like modify a little bit, so what we've seen is like something that looks like this, archive. We have tarball, archive. They're kind of the same thing. I looked at it. It's like basically tarball redirects to archive or something like that. So don't let this terminology bother you too much. And then we have the latest version is a separate format, right? We have channels, something like that we can do. And get the latest channel version hosted by GitHub, right? So that's the other version that we did earlier, I think. And the only thing is that like we looked at status, which shows us like the active versions. But if you want to see all the channels that are available, you can go to this other link here, NixOS org channels, and that's the official list. And these are all the versions that were available, and I think you can still link to them. And like 2405 is where we were looking. You click on the, it shows you the Git version that was used. And I think that's what, yeah, you see like those numbers match here, 9256, 9256. So you can do that too. So, the best way if you want it to be fully reproducible is to use this version, right? Go to Nix status, go over here, and if you want to copy the whole thing, just copy on the URL here, and that's your Git specific version. So hopefully that makes sense. Um, I think that will cover it for today. Well, let's look at if there's anything else in here that we didn't go over. Pinning Nix packages, fetch tarball. You can go to nix nixos.org. Yeah, I don't I haven't played with unstable at all. I kind of feel like the whole reason I'm doing Nix is because I want stability, but I guess like it makes sense that you might want to play around with the different channels that may be like stable, unstable. And then there was like small and large. I don't know what the difference for those are. I think they talk about it in the wiki a bit. So at this point, we finished all of first steps. And we finished Nix language basics. So I guess like either I'll do a little bit of Nix programming in general, or we'll go into packaging existing software. So we'll see whatever kind of like mood we're in. All right, thanks so much. Let me know if that was helpful or not helpful, too slow, too fast. If you have any questions, please ask in the comments. We'll link to the this documentation in the description. And also, please subscribe and like if you found this useful. There's a Discord server also in the description, and that's a good way, like if you have any questions. No one has asked any questions. Some people have joined, but not a single question. So I guess like this is either really clear or no one's following whatsoever. But I assure you I'm learning stuff, and that was sort of the point. So I'm on my way to be a Nix expert. We'll see. Okay, thanks everyone. Bye.